Thank you for tuning in to another video. This time I bring you Le Mans Ultimate in VR, because on the 24th of September 2024, Studio 397 finally released the update that I've been waiting for ever since the early access release earlier in the year. So I'm going to run through some of the patch notes, specifically the VR support, and give you my opinion on how I think it does, how it compares to the other games I've been racing, and some overall impressions on the game. What I'll also do at the end of the video is put on the screen my various settings for VR. So what I have the BigScreen Beyond set to, what I have my NVIDIA control panel set to, and the settings that I have set in Le Mans Ultimate. So, spoiler alert, if you don't want to know my opinion, skip ahead to later on in the video. I'll leave the chapter marker and get ready, because I'm going to tell you what I think straight away. As always, if you wouldn't mind smashing that like button, hitting subscribe and sharing the video, I'd be extremely grateful, as it goes a long way to supporting the channel and gives me that endorphin serotonin kick to keep releasing more content. So before I give you my opinion on how I feel Studio 397 have done with this VR support, I have to first of all add in the caveat. They are very clear this is not their final iteration of what they want VR support to be like in Le Mans Ultimate. Also, this is just a stopgap to improve the experience for us VR racers and give us the ability to finally get into the game. So, my expectations for the patch were extremely low. All I really wanted out of it, for it to be a win for me, was A, the visual experience to be a marked improvement on what I had before. And if you don't know what that looked like, I will post a card to my previous video when I first tried VR in Le Mans Ultimate. And secondly, that the support would enable the ability for VR racers to join the online lobbies and join in the online events. And if you haven't guessed already, this video is an online race, because we can now, as of the 24th of September, as VR racers, join the online events. Previously, the plus VR modifier in the command line would somehow interfere with the ability to get beyond the loading the session and entering the session. As soon as it got to 100% loaded, the game would normally crash to desktop, whereas now we can join in the fun. So for me, straight away, 2 thumbs up, big tick, that's a win. As for the quality, 100% it is crisper. It is much sharper. The quality is so much better than it was before the patch. Now, I don't know if it was something I did when previously adjusting my settings, so I deleted the ini files, both config ini files, I should be more explicit, and then I applied the patch. However, you can see I do not have the aliasing issues that I had before. If you're not sure what that looked like, I'll post a link to my previous video and you can see the abomination, the nightmare that video was. It also stuttered like I don't know what. Whereas this, whilst not perfect, is much smoother. So the racing experience now is actually tolerable. No, let me take that back. It is enjoyable. So what do I think of the VR support? I love it at the moment. I'm not saying it's perfect. It is not perfect by any means. But those 2 criteria were the only things that I needed to make me happy. I can race and I can see, and it doesn't make my eyes bleed. However, once I get beyond the euphoria of finally being able to enjoy the game, to explore the experience that is Le Mans Ultimate, I have to say, I'm still not overly impressed with the visual quality of Le Mans Ultimate. Now, maybe it's just me, maybe it's something about the way I have my system configured, but I'm running the same settings in the NVIDIA control panel that I'm running for Assetto Corsa Competizione and for Assetto Corsa and for Automobilista 2. Now, obviously, Automobilista 2 is an absolute dream to play in VR. The visual quality sets the standard. That said, Assetto Corsa, with the custom shaders patch, with content manager, with all of the PP filters that are available, visually It goes toe to toe with Automobilista 2. Depends on the mod, depends on how you have the filter set, but visually in VR, it can be absolutely amazing as well. Gorgeous. So, Le Mans Ultimate, well, considering it's a brand new game in 2024, I was hoping that the latest iteration to come after rFactor 2 would take the visual quality and put it on a completely different level. And when I drive Le Mans Ultimate, I don't know about you, but all I see is rFactor 2. Now, I'm not saying that it's bad. The circuits are amazing. They most definitely are the most accurate circuits in sim racing today. But visually, I still just see the same color palette that I saw in rFactor 2. I still see something that doesn't really compare to what Assetto Corsa Competizione with its Unreal Engine delivers, and something that definitely cannot stand toe-to-toe with what Automobilista 2 brings. And again, Assetto Corsa, with the custom shaders patch, with some of the work that the modifying community has done, still makes Le Mans Ultimate look dated. Now, I have to caveat it a lot. I'm looking at it in VR and it hasn't got official VR support yet. So I am hoping, not holding my breath, but hoping when official VR support comes that the visual experience will look better. However, as I said, I'm not holding my breath. I am waiting to be pleasantly surprised, because when I remove the Plus VR modifier and load the game up in 2D mode and then watch a replay, which again, when looking at replays in rFactor 2, they were never the greatest. But looking at the replay in Le Mans Ultimate, again, I see that same visual quality that I saw in rFactor 2. It does not compare to watching a replay in Assetto Corsa Competizione, and it doesn't compare to watching a video replay in Assetto Corsa, again with all the modifications. However, what Studio 397 have done, and again they go to lengths to remind us this is not a full release. They've included some incremental improvements for those users like me that want to try it. So this is what they've done. They fixed an issue with MSAA that wasn't functioning in VR. They fixed the HUD so it now works in VR. I turn it off. And they fixed the UI so it too works in VR. So the hygiene factors, the user experience has been improved, and we have to thank them for that, because again, up until the 24th of September, none of those things were in place, and it wasn't really possible to enjoy racing Le Mans Ultimate, for me that is, in VR. This is in no way a hypercritical video about Le Mans Ultimate, and it is in no way a final judgment on their VR support. It's just the impression that I have at the moment to try and temper some of the, what should I say, hyperbole that is possibly doing the rounds online about how amazing and how great it is. I just want to give you my opinion. The racing is amazing. As I mentioned in my first video, the force feedback is so reminiscent of what you have in rFactor 2, and let's all just agree, whilst it might split opinion, the force feedback in rFactor and rFactor 2 has always been the standard. So when you're racing in Le Mans Ultimate, feeling the tyres lock up, feeling each wheel independently as they lock up is just such a visceral experience. It really allows you to drive and race instinctively. And now that we're able to race online, I am looking forward to spending so many hours in Le Mans Ultimate. I haven't yet got the 2024 season pass, but that is on my shopping list for the weekend. Being able to race the 2023 or 2024 WEC series is something I was looking forward to from, again, the very first early access release. And in this build, 157.98910 for those who are curious, The new features that Studio 397 have added bring us the co-op game mode. That's that multiplayer mode that will allow us to race offline, save our progress, and then share that progress with another friend who can then take the race from where we left it and continue offline. They can then again save their progress and allow us to get back into the game and finish the race. They've also updated the car select screen and given us the 2024 and 2023 wet seasons. However, for the 2024 season, which has the GT3 cars in real life, we still have the 2023 GTE class. That is until the Le Mans GT3 cars are made available. They've also changed the car settings manager so we can save seat positions uniquely per car. They've also made some updates to the code for stability, which fixed several invalid memory access issues that were causing crashes, and they fixed the crash that would happen whenever you were disconnecting a wheel or other peripheral device. They've reworked the AI logic. They've ensured that the AI driver will now be slower at the end of the race when returning to the pits. They've fixed various AI pit lane overtaking issues, fixed several issues that would cause the AI to behave erratically. They've made improvements to the physics, so they've added a soft fall off to the battery usage as it becomes empty. They fixed the virtual energy estimates being displayed incorrectly when using kilowatts per hour, and they've reworked the ABS driving aid to prevent it from outperforming human brake inputs. Graphically, they've made minor adjustments to the sky color balance. They fixed a minor issue where the terrain shader patterns weren't blending, and they've applied fixes and improvements to logging around managing the application of weather at season changes online to address that occasional scene overexposure. For the HUD, they've added a force feedback meter and made the track map outline a little bit thinner. Online, they fixed the normal server disconnects, like when leaving, being detected as erroneous or unexpected disconnects. On the UI, they fixed the online menus not updating after a few hours of inactivity. They fixed the black screen after Studio 397 splash at startup. They fixed multi-view not working on custom resolutions. Fixed the world flag displaying too large. Fixed incorrect naming of some time zones. Fixed naming of some drivers, added a new launch video, improved tab navigation when in-car setup, and fixed the Le Mans track defaulting to 1 minute in the race weekend. For the tracks, they've made some updates to the Algarve International Circuit, Autodrome Enzo A. Dino Ferrari, Autodrome Nazionale Monza, Bahrain International Circuit, Circuit de la Sarthe. They've introduced Circuit of the Americas. Fuji Raceways had some updates, Sebring International Raceway has had some updates, as has Spa-Francorchamps. Also now have the Alpine A424 and the Isotta Franceschini TI-P06C. They added all remaining 2024 hypercar liveries, all 2024 LMP2 liveries. They added Coach Dave Academy Imola setups. They added track-specific BOP for the GTE cars, fixed various issues with missing AI driver talent entries, optimization to rendering interior of cars from exterior views. They reviewed the tyre compounds and revised temperatures, and reviewed fuel mixtures and simplified down to a safety car mix and race mix. They also equalized force feedback strength across all cars. All in all, quite a significant update, especially when you include the fact it already has had a hotfix. So, tell me, what are your views? If you're racing Le Mans Ultimate, what do you think about it? If you're racing a Le Mans Ultimate in VR, what do you think about the update? Let me know in the comments. Again, all likes, shares, and subscriptions are greatly appreciated. I now need to get my head down and go chase after P1. As promised, if you hang on until the end of the race, all of my VR settings will be coming up shortly. See you in the next video.